So on this video, we'll look at how to paint glass and show you how simple it can be.
So mix the three primary colours together until I get something that resembles a nice strong dark. So I suppose the exercise on this is to sort of show you how to paint glass, excuse me, but it's no different than painting any other object, and we can make this look like a smooth object even with very loose brushwork. And all we've got to do is just paint these shapes we see. I think we could do with going a little bit wider at the top. That's a bit narrow at the top. So my it's better. As long as it looks symmetrical. And you could trace it if you wanted to, just to be sure, but even tracing it, it's easy to make a mistake and not have it quite right. So it's slightly lighter over this side, not a lot. So what I'm doing is just painting the shapes. I say I'm painting the dark shapes there. Dark there. And it's a very warm painting. There's a lot of reds in here. So what I did is I put the painting I did of this a few years ago into Midjourney with one of my recent paintings as a prompt and a style, and it straightened it up a little bit, but didn't change the painting much. But so I was quite happy with the painting. It was just maybe not particularly accurate, and I suppose on a landscape we can get away with quite a bit, but on a object that we know should be symmetrical, not so much. I think we can get away with a little bit. So this would actually curve toward just like that because it's, again, it's round. So let's try and make some orange. Let's try the magenta. I'm going to try and find a good pyrrole orange. So if anyone knows a good make of pyrrole orange that's not crazy price, I'll try and get on. But the magenta and the cadmium yellow pale, or whatever yellow you're using, that's quite good. A touch of white. That's not bad. It's got quite a good orange. That's the thing with orange, it soon muddies up if you get anything else in it. So you've got to be careful. Because the background is orange at the moment, it's not going to show up. So let's get the background in. More red. Down here. Probably will resort to a little bit of cadmium red, I think, at some point. So let's use a big brush. Use some of that magenta, bit of blue, bit of red. So we can use this to shape the glass as well. So we know we've got a bit of a curve on the top there. I probably will be painting the background again to sharpen up edges and so on. I think it'd be just useful to help to be able to see. So that comes up at an angle there, and obviously you have to do exactly the same on the other side. Using a synthetic brush here, that will leave a smoother mark. This is a Rosemary & Co. Ivory Long Flat. Just red down here. So the dark. Going for a painterly look, but to look like glass. Red up there rather than have it just dark everywhere. So that's the beauty with oil paints, that you do have the opportunity to use the paint to push and pull shapes to correct things. So it's not quite symmetrical there at the moment. So we shall address that. So it needs to come out this way slightly more. I probably will be needing to use the background to push and pull things about. And like getting the dark in helps to show the glass. It will also be when we put the highlights in, it will do a similar job. So let's put the outer edge of that glass in. And try and do things confidently, because if you have to go over it again, it'll look laboured. So the more you can just do with one confident mark, the better. And it's easy, I find it's easier to do the angle there because I'm right-handed, but it feels awkward to do this side. So that's, I think, why we get the odd things that go on. So just do your best. There. Some light on the glass there, and these might have to be the final marks here that we don't want to be playing about when we've got white paint on here. So don't necessarily put these on until you know that your overall shape is right. And just literally put in the right colour, the right tone, in the right place, hopefully, or close enough. And just patience, build it up, follow the curve there. Get some cadmium red on the go. Bit of this Scarlet Lake. Clean the brush off. So what do I see? I see a bit of red there. Bit of red there. I think this is a glass of brandy, maybe, or whiskey. Not a spirits man myself. I don't drink at all now, but I used to enjoy an ale when I lived in the UK. Butty back, like that one. There's just little flicks here and there, where just colours are just bouncing off everywhere. Let's try a bit of that yellow and that red. It's probably more of a pyrrole orange that I'm looking for. Come back to that. So some more of that magenta. So a colourful glass, a bit of red. It's a liquid there. Top. Again, you just got to check your colours, hold the brush up to what you're painting. So there's reflections on the bottom here, which is probably coming from up there. And it's all very abstract here. I think when I originally did this, I did it from a photograph. So I'm painting from my painting in a way. So it's fairly abstract to start with. Get that dark in there. So it can be a bit of a patchwork quilt look to it, of a bit of colour here, a bit of something there, and just keep going until it looks right. Darks down here. And painting scenes like this is where you really got to just look at shapes, get what you're painting, and just replicate that shape, the right tonal value and the colour. Come out that way a bit more. With just sorting this out a little bit here. So let's just remove a bit of paint. There's a bit of a cast shadow. In there. It's a combination of the Zarin crimson and the cadmium red, maybe. Maybe a bit of magenta as well. A little bit. So it's not unusual to lose your drawing slightly, so we may have to come back in and sort that out. So let's have a quick little look at, I think that needs to be modified ever so slightly. Close enough. And obviously glasses come in all shapes and sizes, so we have got that. There's a bit of a leeway. Not sure which side I prefer. They are slightly different. So I think that needs to come up. It's close enough. You just keep going forever otherwise. So let's get some darks back in. So, nice strong dark here, so we get the contrast. Not to lose that shape. Don't mind a little bit of brushwork in the background there. I was going smooth initially, but I actually quite like some of that texture. Abstract shapes there. I think a bit of light up here. Give it a little bit more depth, I think. That's in the reference. If you don't like the brushwork, you could just take a smoother brush and just smooth it off, which will certainly darken the value a little bit. Just try both and see what you prefer. Combination of both, maybe. So it's all covered, just need to now just refine and make things just a little bit more accurate. So just check some colours, tonal values, just put them in decisively. There's obviously objects around this glass that are just reflecting light all over the place. And this is all very brush marky. I'll show you a close-up at the end. But it's still starting to hopefully look like a glass. The important thing is to not lose the darks. Top of darks, need some more down the bottom. This is all just abstract shapes. Hopefully will tell the story of the surface and what's in here. A little shadow just at the base of the glass there. Use the highlights to sort out the shape a little bit. The bottom. So this is quite a worn brush, so it's going to leave an abstract mark. So we're just looking at little sparkles of light randomly on the glass there. A little flick. And this has to be, the final marks. Or maybe just a few little modifications. There's one that goes all the way down there. A bit too big. Probably need to take some of these away because they're a little bit too distracting if we've got too many. Or just keep the ones that are actually going to do the job to enforce the message. again, just have a look to see if we've got it symmetrical, that this comes out further on that side, so, or is it just a little bit higher? There, that's what it needs to be. Made that too big. Just try and keep a separate brush for your darks, so you're not mixing white paint in there, because you will lose a real sort of strong dark, which I've lost on the painting at the moment, a few darks, but I'll just put them back in. And I find that that kind of is the case sometimes with painting, that you forward and back. You make it better, you make it worse. But don't give up, keep going.
So this was painted quite a while ago, this scene, and you know, I'm probably due to revisit painting glass. I'm probably obviously looking at it now, I probably wasn't quite happy where it was at the moment, so I started messing about and fiddling with it. That I sped this part of the video up just to save you a bit of boredom and pain. That you can see there, I'm sort of wiping out, trying to remove. I think probably looking at it now, that a few years later, that I probably got too much white paint in those darks, and I lost my darks a little bit, and the shape of the glass also kind of got a little bit off symmetrical. But the great thing about oil painting, there's nothing that can't be fixed. So that's what I did. I messed about with it a little bit and fixed it. It's still slightly off symmetrical, but it's a loose impressionistic oil painting, so we get away with a little bit. But I actually painted this a few years ago, and I think I had more success a few years ago, probably because I kept it simpler, you know, probably because I'm trying to replicate every mark here that's in that reference image, which is a very painterly image. That's a Mid-Journey image that if I was painting it from a photograph, it probably would be, you know, possibly even easier, because there's a lot of marks in there, abstraction to try and replicate. So don't fall into that trap that I did. But I did manage to get it back by just going into the darks again and re-establish them. So you know, there was a good lesson there, and it's always a good lesson when you're painting. And if things don't go right, don't worry about it. It's a lesson you're learning, that protect those darks, and you protect those darks by not putting white paint into them, or you know, anything that's got a bit of white in there, because you just lose them. So give it a go. You can set up a glass and have some light hitting it, and put a dark background behind it if you want to do it from life. Obviously, I used a photo because I'm sharing the video on YouTube, so members will need a photo to work from if they want to give it a go. And that's, you know, that is the case. Just give it a go. Don't get too fixated on trying to replicate it exactly as it is in the photo, or what I've done here. But you know, let your brushwork be your signature. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I shall see you on the next video.